Hello, I am so excited that you're joining me in this first free lesson. I cannot tell you how excited I am that you're starting your journey to a full voice. I absolutely get so excited about this. I have taught hundreds of people over the past 15 years voice and just got to see them experience more notes, higher range, strengthening their voice of how their actual firm voice, not actually trying to sound like somebody else, their favorite Taylor Swift album or anything else. And that's what I want for you, and it makes me so excited thinking about that. Here are the three things. This is going to be a quick lesson, but we're going to try to do our best to do these three things. I want you to work on increasing your range. Like I said earlier, I want you to reach those high notes that I know so many people, that's one of the top things people have a hard time with when they come to me for voice lessons. So it's either those high notes or those really low notes. And I want you to be able to get to those. I don't want you to be singing, "Oh, won't you stay with me," and get really quiet all of a sudden. We don't want that. We want it to be full. We want it to be strong. And that's the second thing we're going to work on. I want you to really have this full and beautiful tone. I don't want it to be tinny or small or sound pushed. I want it to sound relaxed. I want it to sound full, like strong. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to sound forced. The more you can sound like you and sound relaxed, the more beautiful your voice will be, which is what we want. And then the very last thing that we're going to be working on is to how to strengthen your voice. I have so many people come to me and say, "Oh man, I was just singing this gig for 2 hours and then at the end of it, my voice hurt so much, or I felt raspy," or things like that. You don't want that. You want it to be as easy as possible. You want to feel relaxed. You don't want it to hurt. If it's hurting, something is definitely wrong. So like I've said, I've been teaching voice for about 15 years. My students have sung at the Lyric Opera in Chicago, at the Rockefeller Center. They've toured the United States multiple times. I myself have sung at radio stations, TV shows, all over the place, even down to just singing in the shower and in the car. No matter where you're singing, I want it to be easy. I want it to sound amazing and beautiful. I want you to be able to enjoy singing like I do. And for a very long time, let me tell you, I was not that way at first. I loved singing. I would do it for hours and hours and hours, but I wasn't doing it right. I was pushing from my throat so much to the point where I would have a really strong chest voice, the lower range, but then anytime you got to any higher notes whatsoever, it was quiet, it was forced, it was rough. And let me tell you, I looked everywhere to find a voice teacher. I could only find people who taught classical. That was really disheartening for me because I didn't want to do classical. I didn't want to sing Ave Maria. I wanted to sing what I heard on the radio. I wanted to sing pop. I wanted to sing folk. I wanted to sing gospel. For you, it might be metal, it might be country, any of those things. But that's what I want you to be able to sing. What you love, your favorite music, that's what I want you to be able to rock. And let me tell you, it took a long time to find a really good voice teacher. I ended up majoring in it in college, and that's where I actually got some of the best teaching and people who used to work for Sony with Gloria Estefan or other people that really were teaching the professional singers how to sing. That's when I started to break those old habits. And for me, I don't want you to have to spend $80,000 on a college education. I want you to be able to learn those tips and quickly switch those habits, to be able to sing full, to be able to sing high, to be able to sing low, wherever you can for you. So that's a little bit where I'm coming from. What I've learned in the past, I've made so many mistakes that I now can know how to fix those mistakes and help you in your journey, and that makes me so excited. So, are you ready to put in some work? I'm not going to tell you that it's quick necessarily. Some habits, if you've been singing for years, might take a little bit to break, but then there's also a few of those little nuggets that you can just jump in with right off the bat and fix your breathing habits or other things that are really core and important that can change instantly and very effectively. So that's what we want for you. So yes, it's going to be a little bit of work, but it's going to be so worth it, and it's going to be so exciting, and you're going to feel so much better, and your confidence is going to be built, which is what I just love to see, and I see it all the time. So pay attention. If you're driving in your car listening to this, turn off all other distractions. If you're in your house and your kids are running everywhere or whatever you need to do, be able to take notes and to be able to really focus in and dig into this so that when you're singing all those other times, you can be thinking about these techniques and trying to switch the ways you've done it in the past. Okay, so here's where we're going to start. We're going to dig in here, and we're going to start with the very first thing when you're singing actually has to do with your posture. So for those of you that might have taken a voice lesson before or been in a choir or something, you already have heard this, but it's so, so important. We cannot breeze past it. So I'm going to scoot back a little bit here so that you can see what I'm doing. What I want you to do is I want you, if you can, to stand up nice and tall and strong. And what we're going to do first is I want you just to lean over and kind of hang your arms and relax as much as you can with your body. Now, the reason you're doing this is to kind of let loose any tensions that your body might have at first. Okay? We don't want you to be tense. If any parts of your body is tense or your muscles are tense, your shoulders are tense, it all goes into your voice and in the muscles in your throat, which we don't want. So I want you to lean over nice and relaxed, kind of hang your arms a little crazy like. Now, yes, there's some crazy things that happen in voice, but you're just going to bear with me and it's totally worth it. So don't be scared to be embarrassed. You're going to scoot on up, and as you come up, I want you just to nice and slow come up vertebrae by vertebrae. So you're standing nice and straight. See how that works? I don't want you leaned over like this, because what happens is when your air is trying to come out, what will happen is it's harder to get out, number one, but two, you're blocking your diaphragm here, which if you can see in your stomach muscles, I want you guys to see nice and close. When I breathe in, notice my hands come out. Let me get it closer again so you can see that. When I breathe in, see how my hands come out. That's what I want for you. I want it to be in your stomach, in your diaphragm, as opposed to in your shoulders. A lot of times when I start with a person, a lot of times I say, take a deep breath, and this is what I see. See these shoulders coming up? You don't want that. That is not good. So, if you need to stop and pause this, go ahead, pause it, go to a mirror, take a few deep breaths, see if it's in your shoulders. Because watch me again, take a deep breath. Your hands here should be coming out. Take a nice deep breath again with me. Only in your stomach. Let it back out. I've heard a lot of people say it almost feels like a balloon inflating down instead of up. Let your air out again, only in your stomach. Do a few more times. And back out. Again, in. And back out. Don't let those shoulders move, whatever it takes, so that you can only breathe in your diaphragm. Do that. It's very important. That is the basis of your singing. If you can breathe in your diaphragm, all the rest gets way easier. You have the support that you need. So one more time, all in your stomach. And back out. Good. Now, here's something else that I would like you to do. Make sure your shoulders are nice and back, and you're not crunched in here, again, with your diaphragm getting all crunched up. Make sure it's like that. One other little secret I use for people, because when I first started singing, it was really hard for me to only have it in my stomach. I always was switching back to my shoulders. What I'll sometimes have people do is lie flat on the ground, because right before you're about to fall asleep, believe it or not, you breathe from your diaphragm. Or if you're doing sports or whatever else, your body switches so that you can get a fuller breath in your stomach, which is kind of interesting. So if you're having a hard time right now and you can't really feel the difference, you can lay on your stomach just flat, and you'll feel your stomach raise up as you're breathing in. So you can give that a try a few times and see if you can get it feeling the right way. Again, if you have any questions as we're going through this, feel free to message me. There should be a button on the bottom so that if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those for you as we go. Okay, so that's your first mission, is your big breathing. We're going to take a few more full breaths, and here's what I want you to do for this little quick warm-up. You're going to breathe in as full as you can. So it feels like if someone were to go like this and prick you, you just pop. It feels so full. You want that in here, because the more air you have, the air is actually what's going to be making your sound. A lot of people think your sound is using muscles in your throat, but what it really is like is a wind chime. And when your air goes through your vocal cords, it moves your vocal cords, and that's what's making the sound. So a lot of times people are tensing up their throat, trying to push it. Stay with me, like from here. And what's actually happening is they're getting tense. And how I explain this a lot of times is, think if you have a hose and you're trying to get water. Say you're trying to squirt your best friend or one of your brothers or somebody, and you have a hose that's this small. Say you're trying to squeeze the water out, you don't get very much. But now say you get a hose this big, right? You can just blast them, and that's what you want. And you want that with your voice. The more air you get, the more air can go through those wind chimes, and the more full sound you can have. So a lot of times the first problem we have to fix is with the breathing. And a lot of times people say, oh yeah, I breathe all the time, no big. But no, this is very different. Pay very close attention, because if you can fix your breathing support, this is the main core of singing. A lot of times when people actually start getting a full breath, it takes their little voice, stay with me, to like this full, stay with me, 'cause you're all I need, without trying at all, and all of a sudden it's a whole different world, which is what we want. So, try this. I want you to get your huge deep breath in. And I want you to out until you run out of air. Do it one more time and I'll explain why we're doing this. Huge breath in your stomach and out. Now here's why we're doing that. It has to do with control as you're letting your air out, because as you're getting your full breath, we want it to be full. But when you're breathing, I don't want you just to let it all out really quickly. Right? Hello, can you hear me? And it's gone. You want to take a big breath in, and if you're, it's letting just a little bit out at a time, which is what you want, okay? So get your huge breath in again. And you can let a little bit out at a time. As my love has come along. See how that is? It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel pushed. It doesn't feel quiet. It's that perfect combination, okay? So, get one more big breath in, and that's out for 8 counts. You ready? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time, breathe it in, and we're going to do the exact same thing. And out for 8 counts. Great. Now, at any time, these are things that you can pause, and you can do a few more of these if you feel like you need to get that, to feel how that feels to let the air out just a little bit at a time, or how it feels to really feel full in your stomach, okay? That's the good thing about videos. You can pause at any time. You can go back to it as many times as you need to, okay? So that's really important. Now we're actually, that we've got the basis of the good posture, we got the basis of the good breathing. Now we're going to get to some actual singing, the good stuff. So, I'm going to give you one of my favorite warm-ups, and it is called Goog. Now, here's why we do this crazy sound. Because, I'm throwing so many things at you this lesson, and I know that at the end of this, you have a chance to sign up for the 5 full lessons where you can actually go in depth a lot more into each of these things, because I know it's a lot in one little squeezed class. But these things are important, so I want you to feel each of these nuggets and get an idea of what we will be talking about in the extended class if you choose to do that. So this next little thing, the warm-up that we'll be doing is Goog, and it has to do with your larynx. So, most of you are thinking, what the heck is that? Now, here's what it is. If you swallow, you can put your hand right here. Take a good swallow. You feel that thing go up and down, kind of freaky. Try it again. Can you feel it, I hope? That is your larynx. Now, it's super important because it comes up when you're eating so that the food doesn't go into your lungs, and vice versa. The air then can get into your lungs when there isn't food. So, but it's really important that that comes up and down when you're eating so that you're not choking on food. But when you're singing, this is very important. You don't want your larynx to come up. And here's what it sounds like if it is coming up. We'll use the same example we have of that Sam Smith song, Stay With Me. If you know it, great. If not, you can listen to it later and have an idea what I'm talking about. But if it's up, it's going to be, oh, won't you stay with me, 'cause you're all I need. It almost sounds choked out, which is not what you want when you're singing at all. Okay? But what happens with your larynx when it's staying down is you get this really open sound, stay with me, which is what you want, okay? This warm-up Goog helps you to have that open sound. It trains your larynx to stay down, which I know sounds totally crazy, but very useful. So, we're gonna start with some Googs, okay? If you're a gentleman, you can start with this very first one. We're gonna go up high for the ladies, but there will be underneath, there'll be a recording of the Goog for gentlemen as well, if you would like to click that one and practice with that warm-up, okay? Here we go. So you're gonna get your huge breath in from your stomach, and then I want you to go goo, 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 goo. Okay? Try it. Biggest breath you got. Goo, 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 goo. Okay, go to the next one up, okay? You're going to make sure you get that huge breath in your stomach, not your shoulders moving, only in your stomach, and goo, 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 goo. Yeah, okay? Now, as we go up, if you start to feel like you're getting the breathing down, then you can focus on your larynx and put your hand here. Make sure that's not coming up, okay? Next one, huge breath. Do a little check. How you doing? Is your larynx staying down? I hope so, okay? Feel it. Feel it feel nice and full, all right? Get that huge breath in. I always tell people it can feel like a monster almost as you're singing those goo, because you want to be thinking down and long. Goo. I know that might sound a little funny at first, but believe you me, in voice you do all sorts of weird stuff and you sound super crazy at some parts of things, but it's so worth it because you're breaking those old habits. Just keep telling yourself that, okay? Good, keep going. Now we're going, at this point you should notice, it wasn't just in your chest voice anymore where it gets to the low, we're getting to your head voice where you start to feel those high notes. High notes are a lot trickier. It takes a lot more training to get into those and to get them full, but that's what we're working on. So if at any point you're getting frustrated and you're saying this doesn't feel full, those high notes are hard to get to, believe me, I know, I totally understand. You're doing a good job. Just keep practicing and those high notes do get easier, I promise you. And the sound will get fuller the more you keep practicing these warm-ups. If you can't get to any of these high notes right now, the more you practice, you're strengthening those muscles. They will get there. So keep being patient and keep putting in the work and you will get to that spot, okay? For those of you that you're still with me, we're going to go up a few more, probably 3 more warm-ups. I'll put the warm-ups again underneath if you want to practice with that recording of it, okay? Big breath. 2 more. And last one. Now, I hope that was feeling good for you. You were starting to feel how it feels to keep your larynx down, because that is a major, major thing in singing. It's not necessarily a super beginner technique. Once you get that breathing normally takes about a month to start getting all those habits and feeling really, really good and starting using that in your singing. But I wanted to throw out the larynx for those of you who might already have had some choir or something else and you want to dig in a little bit deeper. Again, for those of you that feel overwhelmed, like, wait, what? I already don't feel like I know what's happening. There will be a deeper course that you can sign up for after this lesson where there's 5 lessons to go into a little bit deeper. We can work on songs specifically. I'll give you a whole half an hour of warm-ups to work on a lot of these techniques and figure out other things as we go, okay? I hope that is helpful for you. Like I said, this is just the beginner techniques. I want to start with, give you one little piece of a song that you guys can dig into. And it will just be, alas, my love has come along. Just that one little piece that we can work on. Whenever you're going through a song, you want to go piece by piece. Eventually, you will obviously do the whole song. But a lot of times when you're working on a specific thing that might be hard, if you just breeze past it and you do the whole song every time, you're not going to be able to focus in on those parts where you might have had a bad habit, where you might have been tense, where you might have had not good breathing. So it's very important to take a phrase, get your good breathing, notice that you're relaxed, and then you can work your way through it, okay? So I'm just going to give you this one little piece. Now again, I know that this might not be your style of song. You might be into metal, you might be into country, Christian, pop, gospel, whatever it is. These techniques are going to work in that style, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just play for you, alas, my love has come along. And I just want you to focus on that one little part, okay? Now, your notes are going to be, at last, my love has come along. Now I want you to try singing that with me. I'm going to give you a second to get a huge deep breath, but I want you to feel it in your body. Feel the fullness when you get that breath. You ready? Alas, my love has come along. Now, listen to yourself. I would highly, highly suggest pausing this video and recording yourself on your phone or whatever you can find your computer and listen back to it. Does it sound full? Does it sound tinny? Does it sound kind of stuck? At last, my love has come along. See how small that sounds? You don't want a small sound. You want it to be full. So as you get your big breath, I want you to open this mouth up. Because just like if this is all closed up really small, your jaw is connected to your throat. And if this is going to be closed, your sound will also be small. Your throat will be small and you can't get that air through. So if you open your jaw, my love has come along. See, that should have a difference in your sound already. Your sound should be sounding fuller, more open. All of those things go to getting your voice to the fullest that we can get it to be, okay? I don't want you to be sounding like someone else. I want you to sound like you. I want you to sound the best your voice can sound. I don't want it to be tight. I don't want it to be stressed. I don't want it to be tired. I want it to be easy and full and just amazing going up and down through those different notes. Now, like I said, you have a chance after this lesson to sign up for the actual 5-course masterclass where we're going to be teaching all these, digging a lot deeper about your larynx, about the back of your throat, your hard palate, soft palate, things that are going to be able to strengthen your voice, get you to sing for hours on end without hurting. We're going to be able to get you those high notes, those low notes, those different chords, more with breathing. I'm going to give you a half an hour warm-up set that you can be practicing to all the time. We're going to have 5 singing voices, but not only that, singing lessons, I'm sorry, we're also going to throw in a sight singing one because I know there have been a lot of people asking how to sight sing, how to do some harmonies. I'm going to throw in one lesson on theory for songwriting at the end as just a bonus for those of you that might want to know how to songwrite. And then I'm even going to throw in one extra piano lesson for those people that want to sit down and be able to play the warm-ups themselves or be able to write some little songs or maybe even play along, which is where it gets really, really fun. So, all of those things for $47 on this course if you sign up at the end. I'm so thankful, so excited to get to do this with you. Again, now's your chance to break old habits. Do not stick around any longer with your old voice and how it's been, where it's been hurting or where you can only reach those certain notes where you have to find songs in that certain range. Say goodbye to your old voice and let's dig in deep to set your voice free. Again, I'm Kelly Condren. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been such an honor. And if you'd like to sign up for the class after this, you can click the link. It's $47. Have a great day.